Good evening, everybody. And thank you for being there today for the workshop on the green investment in Lebanon. I maybe quickly introduce myself before starting. My name is Cyril Roland, and I'm French, living in Lebanon. I used to work in India and France in the venture capital industry. I'm also a master composter. And I'm working in the Fondation Diane with Diana for now 1 year, investing in green companies. Before starting, I would be happy to know a bit more about who you are, and maybe ask you if who in the audience is running a green business or is involved in the green industry. One, so okay. So come and two or three, cool. So come and see us after a while, maybe we have something to do together. And for other one, are you investing, who is investing or interested by investing as an angel or a fund in green business? You are? So you, 1, 2. Okay, so you can all mix maybe all of you outside after a while. And the other one, why did you came to this workshop? Wanted to know by curiosity or by looking for jobs maybe, for some general interest. Good, so we hope we'll give you some interesting information. So the aim of the workshop is to give you some feedback. We spent 1 year investing in green businesses in Lebanon, and we got some. Okay, good. So we'll have the main interest for you today is to have the feedback and the discussion with these 4 CEOs of 4 companies we have already invested in. We'll start by a 20 minutes introduction that I will do. And Diana Fadel, who is the founder and the president of the Fondation Diane, even maybe, applause, thank you. Maybe even crazier than the 4 CEOs we have there, because she was the one thinking it would be something that we could prove it can be sustainable and profitable. So I will leave the floor to Diana to introduce, and then we'll have a 15 minutes feedback on the lesson learned from our experience. Then 15 minutes of discussion with the 4, 15, of course, 15, yes, with the 4 companies. And then I will leave the floor for questions and answers you may have for this gentleman and lady. Okay, I leave the floor to Diana Fadel, founder and president of the...
So, I need that? You think so? My voice is... Okay. Dear business opportunities, friends, and hunters. I don't know on which side you are. Looking for new ideas? Find the good ones. Don't get it wrong. Future is for eco-sustainability. Facing the climate change, there is no other direction. Lebanon is suffering intensely from the lack of eco-entrepreneurs. Opportunities are numerous, and the field is wide open in front of you. Let us talk about eco-sustainability. If we consume the resources that were given to us for a healthy and good living, and God don't give in return to nature what nature offered to us, I say, the purity of the water we drink, the freshness of the air we breathe, the beauty of our environment, our greeneries, the fertility of the soil we cultivate, and from where we get our fruits and vegetables we eat. Yes, if we don't keep them safe, we are digging our own grave and bequeath many unsolvable problems to our children we love. Our children, our grandchildren, the coming generations will curse us. You are business friends? Choose good friends, green business. Green business is profitable in all manners. It's profitable in terms of money. Yes, money. And we are soon going to give you examples to believe with 4 investments we have recently done. It's also profitable in terms of image. You will be avant-garde and benefactor for the humanity. And most of all, it's profitable in terms of health, your compatriots' health, your children's health, and the beauty of your living. You pay a lot for a nice car, a nice house, a nice garden. You spend so much to keep them in shape. Lebanon is our home. Don't we want it to be nice too? Clean, green, nice architecture, good urbanism plans, green spaces, preserved monuments. Remember, if you ever have visited Switzerland, or if you didn't yet, or when you see images of that country, you dream, wow, Lebanon could be like that. Same for the Côte d'Azur, so similar in its configuration to our country. But there, you pay houses double the prices you would pay in Lebanon. Why? Because they are in a nice environment. Like the costly pictures or photos showing incredible views and sights you use to decorate your walls with. And on the top of that, you'll be, I repeat, improving your image. You become creative. You do differently. And you make money because you are exclusive. And most of all, it's your country and your town. It's your rivers and forests. It's your mountains and valleys. It's for the people who are sick from pollution, for the people who are unemployed and poor. You create new life and new job opportunities. I tell you, friends, Lebanon is your home. Protect it. Don't let any business harm its resources or pollute it. In contrary, choose eco-sustainability. As I said, it's profitable, it's healthy, it's beautiful. I repeat myself, but I cannot do something, say something else. It's the business that gives back to nature what belongs to nature. Instead of polluting everything we consume, air, water, soil, sea, choose the business that cleans it. Instead of damaging urbanism and monuments, choose a business that preserves it. It is what we, Fondation Diane, wanted to talk about today. The green opportunities we are here to promote, to help grow in, accelerate, incubate, and finally, to support financially through our investments. Please make your life better, improve the life of all Lebanese citizens, and be a good example of eco-citizenship to your family, your neighborhood, your friends, and to the whole world who is looking at us as bad students. Please make your life better, improve the life of all Lebanese citizens, and be a good example. Yes, it is beautiful, it is safe, it is profitable. Wow, it's good. Oh, yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Diana. Always difficult to speak after you. I try. You gave the vision, and I'll be maybe a bit more technical and boring. Sorry. So now the story we want to tell you today is really a question of fight, because we feel that. I mean, there is the good and the bad guys. Luckily, we are the good guys, so we're happy. But mostly there is a good and bad side in each of us, as you said rightly. So there is a side of us willing to, it's so easy to consume and to use things which are free, and you can use them, you can spoil them, and you don't have to give any account to anyone. And you can also be creative and have the courage of trying to create value out of this kind of free resources. You can use bikes in the streets, you can use the sun to bring it into houses, you can use and support local honey producer, you can support local farmers for healthy product. And the whole question is, where do you stand? What do you want to promote? I mean, we all have to choose daily. I'm afraid all of us came by car to this conference. I think we should give back the plastic bottle to the organizers at the end of the show to show that we don't want to use them. I mean, we are all daily using this kind of things. And we have to do the best of we can, because you can have the best startup ecosystem, the best state in the world. If it doesn't start by us, of course, there's no way to solve anything. We are all part of the game. So that's why I want to do a short detour on the foundation by itself before going into the investment fund. Because first, what Diana created was a foundation. And the first day, what we created was a chair. That's nice, yeah? No, you're not happy with what I say, Tracy? Well, there's a robot speaking, yeah. So what we thought first is that before anything else, we should do something to create an awareness, to educate, to go into universities, schools, and work with students, especially. Luckily, and I don't see Fadi here, but okay, we had a great partner with USG, and we launched a chair dedicated to eco-citizenship and sustainable development. So I guess it's been delayed by the traffic jam, but you might meet with Fadi El Haj and Rita, who are the two daily workers and owner of the chair. So secondly, we wanted to extend this work with students to the whole citizen, people in Lebanon, and we created the Citizen Cafe, which are monthly gathering to be a sort of platform between interesting initiatives, startups, ideas, launch, who are offering something, and citizens willing to play the role of citizen and share and create a community. We are really believing in this community sense, and that's the aim of the Citizen Cafe. We hope you can join us in our next one. You let us your business card or send us an email. We'll invite you with pleasure on all this cafe we are organizing every month. Then third, we created this investment fund we will discuss more today. Because we also felt, even if you have a very good citizen willing to do something, once people want to consume green, you have also to have an efficient supply. And on startups, we really feel on startups relies the role of offering and supplying efficient products. First, offering them to clients in Lebanon willing to really do it. What I mean is that before Karim offered some crazy weekly rides in Beirut, if you were willing to ride bicycle in Beirut, it was complex. So he's first giving a service to people eagerly waiting for that. Same if you want to have some healthy food or use some efficient power. Then once these people have been served, there was a critical challenge for us to help reduce the fear of all the other people who usually don't consume this kind of service because they fear it. So if I take another example, if I ask you if you would like to have a compost box in your place or your building, I'm sure 99% of you would say, no, it's stinking, there will be rats, snakes, blah, blah, blah. 1% of you would love to have a compost box. And this 1% should have a profitable offer by a startup to give you a box. Then while this 1% is convinced, through the cafe, through the education, through all these efforts, the remaining 99% should be more easily convinced that we can do something. That's really what we aim to do, and we try to have an equilibrium by these three pillars, education, citizenship, and startups, to reduce the gap between the demand and the offer in the green universe in Lebanon. That's the main. So just to tell you, the fund is part of a larger thinking initiative, which is broader. But we don't think we can run a fund without the other part of the foundation. So I'll go into more details on these funds. We try to start, and I must tell you, when I was doing this kind of job in Europe or in India, it was extremely easy for me, saying I have a fund, I have dollars to give you, and I got 10 calls per day requesting me to invest the company. In Lebanon, it was more difficult, and we chased these heroes. You can say they're heroes. And we identified 50 companies or people having ideas. This fund is today entirely funded by Diana, but it might be open to other investors in the future. We are looking for young startups being both green and economically profitable, where we would always get a minor stake. We don't want to play the role of the manager of the company, of course. We want to support them, but they will remain majority. We, in purpose, didn't get a very detailed definition of green, so don't ask me the question, please, like it happens at every meeting, because I don't know what is green. We, of course, are dealing with water, with waste, with food, with agriculture. It's very complex, you have many definitions. We don't go into a detailed definition. We were looking for liquidity of 5 years. The objective is to exit the company after 5 years, to be able to invest in other companies. And we didn't get very detailed figures on the ROI and the return on investment. But of course, the aim is to prove that we can be, it's not a donation. And there is a lot of very interesting donation program in Lebanon, but we are not. We want to prove that you can be green and sustainable. So the exit is extremely important. And the proof of concept of the fund is to prove we can have an ROI on these projects. The idea for us as an investor, member of the board of all these companies, is to push for a very strong, for an ROI, and also push for a ROE, return on investment, on environment. So we want to work on that. We want to discuss with other like-minded organizations to find efficient criteria of what does it mean to have a return on the environment while these companies are working. So today, to give you some figures, so we found 50 companies. We have invested in 4 of them as of now. We have 2 deals which will be closed in days to come. We have 3, for those of you who were there yesterday, we had a ceremony to award 3 young companies at an earlier stage for good idea they got. And we have today 20 alive companies, a portfolio under diligence. So we have a real, backlog of projects in the fund. So I'd like to now go into some more ideas on why and why not, because it's not so easy. We believe in the green business in Lebanon. So honestly, for us, and we are working also, we have a team member, Maria, who is based in France and has a strong background in venture capital. So we believe, of course, and we are used to KPI, KSI, benchmark, business plan, blah, blah, blah. But in this kind of project, we believe more in 2 dimensions, which is first, do you address a really big issue in the market? And second, are you a dedicated and professional team? And that's what is exciting for us, is that, of course, in Lebanon, you have big problems in this environment issue. I don't have to go more into that. But also, there are a lot of untapped markets in Lebanon, and I would say, that's an opinion we can discuss, to my mind, when I compare to other countries, the environmental markets in Lebanon are pretty immature, meaning for Lebanese who are usually very well connected with the world, getting ideas from abroad and bringing them in Lebanon on this market can more easily give an advantage on the competition. So that's markets who are addressable, so we like it. Second thing is that it's a market where you can do a sort of a proof of concept. You have a lot of support from donors or so a sort of Silicon Valley, I would say, effect in Lebanon, where Lebanese community are usually well connected to a lot of people, able to quickly help them to start. So there is a sort of, for the most, those of you who know the crossing the chasm theory and strategy, identifying the first pin, the most people who are looking the most for your product, identifying them, giving them the service they are looking for, and then spreading it is a thing you can do in Lebanon, maybe easier than on other market. So we like it. For the team, of course, we all believe in the project we funded. Otherwise, you would have not given a penny to these gentlemen and ladies. But I would say that the average Lebanese, and it's a very interesting fact for a French guy like me, we met, is usually speaking 3 or 4 languages, is extremely well educated, so is very used to survive, to struggle, to adapt, which are, of course, extremely good point for the. So we do believe this couple of huge issues and dedicated entrepreneur is something which is not so rare in Lebanon. So for that reason, we believe in that. Of course, that's not a dream world, and there are a lot of issues. I don't need to tell you the ranking of Lebanon on doing business in general, the logistic issue, etc. Adding sometimes a raw material supply, which is not that easy to find always in Lebanon. The business model of this kind of project, I think you told that, Diana, but it's still complex to have an environmental impact and be at the same price than your competitor. So someone somewhere has to pay. It can be your client, it can be your provider, it can be your team, It can be your investor. That's why also we are extremely flexible with the ROI. But someone, somehow, at some point, has to take a risk yield ratio, which is not the same that in another industry. I would add also that having a volume, low-cost strategy on this kind of project is not that easy. So you have to differentiate yourself by a very strong creativity, which is not given to everybody. So a main point, a main difficulty we discussed a lot with all of you when we were preparing this workshop was that I would not say it's easy, but you can start quick and dirty in Lebanon with a very limited market, but you end usually selling your product or service to always the same kind of people. Healthy, educated, waiting for green, and that's the way a lot of projects are starting their path. But then the scale to Lebanon, and even more the scale to the world, because Lebanese by itself is of course a limited and small market, so if you want to scale more, the habits and the way you started and the context of Lebanon, even if your diaspora might be extremely useful, make it sometimes complex to find the way to scale. And for us, it will be something we started 1 year ago, but we are very careful and very eager to see how we can support these startups on scaling, because there's no exit otherwise. And so we have to find a way to export, to diversify, to cooperate. So I have no answer for that, but that's clearly a challenge for the company we are supporting. Then a word on the ecosystem, because that's something we want to change in Lebanon. You all know there was a tremendous change thanks to BDL, Banque du Liban, and the 331 regulation. A tremendous evolution came in Lebanon 4 years ago. And from this day to now, I was amazed by the numbers of money, incubators, funds supporting now startups on the IT industry. We really want to do the same for the green business. I mean, we have to do that. We have to, it's a question of, so we want to prove that first you have IT can be a dimension of green, and we want to have the same scale, the same kind of program in the Lebanese ecosystem for green businesses. So finally, some lessons. So after 1 year, what we discovered, I mean, compared to other kind of project, is that, of course, we had to be opportunistic. We tried with Diana and Tracy to fund some municipalities for their sorting and composting program. So it's not what an investor do usually, but we wanted to find a solution that we didn't find yet. But we like to be very opportunistic and support what we can support. We wanted also to provide a lot of support to the companies we were supporting, not only giving money and let them run, but be really part of their business development or on their growth. And we also we identify some gaps in the market, bioplastic, for example, where we couldn't find companies already existing and where we were trying ourselves to test, to start new business. And we are looking for entrepreneurs willing to take it over. So feel free to meet us if you like. What I would say on that is that what we are living there, I feel a lot the same that I was living in France during the IT, before the bubble, the IT growth. New economic model, new growth, same excitation. But what we are doing here is way more exciting because we have the same need to find new business model. But if we don't find it, we're facing a big issue, I mean, a life issue. So the stake is much more, and the excitement on finding a new business model is the same. So that's really an exciting world. I'll end by 2 short open questions. That's more to open the ground to discussion. The first being, of course, can you be really business-oriented and green? Of course, yes, because we see it and we do it. But also there's some different trends. I mean, business is usually focusing on short-term return on investment. That's a way of doing business. And green is something that you see in a much longer term. It's a question of 2, 3, 4 generations. So how to do with both is not that easy. What we said at the beginning, I mean, you don't have in your business to take into account of a lot of free resources, which is something you have to do if you want to protect your resources. And something a bit more technical, I'm not sure I'll be able to convey, But business is usually based on continuity. I mean, you grow, you do 1, you do 10, you do 100. Environment is usually a question of threshold. If you cross a threshold, you have a chaos. It changes everything. I mean, on the temperature here, if you go from 20 to 21, it can change everything. So the way you consider your business, usually you don't see really the threshold, which is something which is a sort of complexity when you want to combine both. And the last point, that we are saying, I don't have any answer to that, but what we have seen is that you have a sort of line where some of the projects we have seen try to have a very, very strong impact on a very limited number of clients because they wanted to, for example, get rid of all plastic, or they want to get rid of all cars. They want to have that's the only way to be really sustainable on the long run, but that's extremely difficult to do on the short run. On the other, so that's sort of green revolution. On the other hand, you had some projects trying to have a limited impact, but on a much larger base of clients. And the risk of that, of course, is greenwashing, that you claim to be green, but it's only a marketing layer. But most of the projects, and there's no other way, are in between. And we try to work with them to find the correct equilibrium. Voilà, thank you. So we'll now go to directly a bit to the project who have been supported. So what I will maybe do is that most of them they have a video to. So I think it's nice to see the video, which is a 2-minute video, to see what they are doing, and then I will ask you after the video to introduce yourself and mostly explain to our nice audience how you came from, just to explain how you came from a normal life, like we all have, to a crazy entrepreneur in the green business. What was your path for that and what your company is doing?
أول بسكليت جبتها كان عمري 14 سنة وحولت لي حياتي ونفسيتي لأن حسستني بحرية التنقل. صرت روح فيها بالجبال بالمدن وين ما كان، ومع الوقت صارت هوس وحاجة بحياتي. بعد كم سنة حولت هالهواية لشركة بقدر أعمل منها مصاري وعيش منها وعيش مثل ما أنا بحب. البسكليت صارت لإلي رحلة ما بتخلص. My name is Karim, I'm 26 years old. I'm the founder of Cycling Circle and Degree Messenger since 2011. We're mostly known as Cycling Circle for the night rides that we organize. It's an introduction for the non-cyclists to the biking community. We're aiming more for exchanging between Lebanese groups and the foreigners groups.
I think this kind of initiative is getting people out of their cars and out of their homes and into the community. And for the environment, but really for the people and the citizens of Lebanon, this is fantastic.
One of the main objectives of Cycling Circle is to encourage people to use the bicycle as a means of transportation or for physical fitness. We organize bike touring activities on weekends for the locals and foreigners.
My name is Saeed. Bike Generation is a bike shop. We have rental bikes as well and road assistance. We support Cycling Circle with their events. It's the biggest cycling community available now in Beirut and Lebanon. More people biking means more business, not just for our shop, for all the domain of cycling.
For a 3.5 million population, you have around 2 million cars, and that's a lot. The bike touring activities that we're doing were spreading our message, but it wasn't enough.
A bike is not just a fun or a game. It's actually a way of transportation. It's a way of work. You can do anything with it and being healthy.
I founded the Deghri Messengers with my business partner, who was a bike messenger service in Switzerland. Now we have 3 messengers and a dispatcher who are working on a full-time job, answering companies and other organizations' needs. People really smile when a messenger enters their office. Deghri Messenger is about change. It is a change. It is a turning point.
My name is Siwar, and I commute by bike. I was a bicycle messenger for a while. It's great that Deghri can, start to offer people jobs within this kind of context of being eco-friendly and giving some people a lot of insights.
Deghri means, in Arabic, it means fast, like a fast service, a fast messenger. At the end of each month, we put on Facebook, for example, we did 500 transactions this month, meaning 500 less motorized vehicle on the road. We got approached by several Arab entrepreneurs from the MENA region about if we can help them implement this activity or this service in their country. This is the greatest reward. As long as the people are involved, I will not stop doing and organizing and implementing, initiating cycling-related projects. Test, okay. My name is Karim Sakhan. Now I'm 27 years old. I have a BA in social work, so my background is a social worker. I'm a social worker. I don't have a clue about business. I'm just a passionate cyclist, and I started cycling when I was 13 years old. In 2009, 2008, when I moved to Beirut to go to university, I was commuting by bike. And when I used to go to my university by bike with a helmet, people, they were like, who's that guy? He's an alien coming from the sky. Back then there was no really people biking. And biking was more for the elite people of the society, for the rich people or for the very poor people. It was not recognized as a way of transportation. And I was biking like everywhere in Lebanon, and my friends in university, they start asking me like, why don't you organize bike rides for us? Just take us here and there around Beirut. So I tried it from time to time, and then I found that there was a need for this. So I created the cycling circle, which is the main activity was to organize bike tours in Beirut, to introduce people to Beirut, and later on all over Lebanon. So today we organize bike tours from north to south. We go to all the regions. We even bike on the borders with Palestine and on the borders with Syria. We don't have any limitation. Are we trying now to take people out from Lebanon and go do bike tours in Europe or Asia, and bringing foreigners to Lebanon also to introduce them to Lebanon by bike. And then in 2003, also at university, I had, when you have some exams, you're always in a rush, you need to print some papers. I was always asking myself, why don't I send someone to print my papers? Why can't I do that? And people always used to tell me, okay, you can ask a motorbike service. And in my head, like motorbike, mobilet, and I preferred it to be by bike. So at the same time, there was a movie called The Premium Rush that was showcased in the cinemas here that tells the story of bike messengers in New York. The bike messenger is usually a transporter who delivers parcels by bicycle. And also, in the same year, I met by mistake a bike messenger. His name is Matt. He used to be a bike messenger in Switzerland, and he had some experience about this job. So I told him, okay, why not try to do something here in Lebanon? And he said, okay, I will handle the operations. I told him, all right, I will fund the whole project. And I funded all my projects with all my savings, and it was kind of now when I rethink of it, I say, oh my God, what I did. So, so when we did Degree Messengers, the reaction that came from the community was off the scale. All the media was attracted to us. We went on all local and international TVs. We even spoke on BBC Radio, on CNN, like it was something coming out from the sky for Beirut. And today we are on the map of bike messengers in the world. We've been in business since 3 years now. And recently we had the Dian Foundation investing in Cycling Circle. And this investment is letting us now grow our operations on the bike tours, on the activity levels, and on the delivery service levels. And now we are also opening a bike shop. We're opening a bike shop which is more of a communal space for cyclists to come together to exchange their experience, and for people also who don't bike or just want to come and check out what we are doing. So also to introduce them to the world of cycling, and that you can use the bicycle for fitness, for recreation, for tourism, for business, for anything that you like. And this is shortly my story, so voilà, thank you.
Thank you, Karim. Right. Okay, wait, so thank you, Karim. So it was a great way of offering a service to a community of passionate, and then spreading on a larger scale, which is extremely interesting. So maybe Soumaya would like to hear you on another kind of line of business. See the video. And same, so you will on loud. Okay, so we put on loud and you speak after a while. Very good. Okay.
I am Soumaya. I'm from Tripoli.
We have 15 products. We have 6 oat cookies. We have the oat dark chocolate cookie family. We have the oat herb family. In the oat herbs, we have black seed anise and fennel. We also have the fruit and seed cookies and the fresh oat orange cookies. We're also known for our oat vegan maamoul that come in 3 flavors: dates, pistachio, and walnuts. And then we also have our Arabic bread that come in 3 different grains: rye, oat, and spelt. Spelt is a grain that we plant and harvest ourselves every year.
Breadbasket is a wheat-free bakery. We're a vegan bakery and we're a GMO-free bakery. And it was something that I wanted to bring to Lebanon. Breadbasket Square is in Tripoli. I think that's an important point. This is where the story began, in the north of Lebanon. I had to prove myself as a woman in Tripoli making cookies. But everyone has to prove themselves. It's really my mirror of what I am. Someone says, are you and Breadbasket are different things? You have to, Breadbasket is one thing, you are one thing. I say, no, my Breadbasket is my work. Everything that you see is something I've created. And yeah, I do. I want to be one of those food manufacturers that are giving a healthy choice to an end consumer. I want to be able myself to walk into a place and choose a product that I want to eat and I feel it's trustworthy to eat. And I think by having Breadbasket, I'm able, luckily, somehow, to be able to work on something I really believe in.
Bravo.
So
same rule, if you can just tell us what was the past that led you to this project.
I'm going to do this very quickly. So you were introduced to me through the video. I think I'm just going to take little examples of what it was like for me to enter the market in Lebanon. And I remember very clearly the first time I walked into a shop, one that we must all know if we're sitting in this room. He told me, your product won't work in Lebanon because it's made in Lebanon. Only products of this quality come from France and come from Italy. And I remember leaving and thinking, what a pity that I'm doing of the same quality, but us as a Lebanese merchant does not accept that quality. And it changed something in me because I realized the challenge. It's very challenging to be working through distribution in the F&B industry in Lebanon. And I think by creating a product today, what you do is you shorten food miles. Do you know what food miles are? It's a new term for a lot of people. Food miles is when you have a food and you're closer to it. By doing that, you have a huge impact on what you're eating and on the environment. So it's by creating a quality product that is competitive or has competitive advantage to imported product that you make a change, not just in your health, but in your environment. I think that's the only thing I really want to add because it's in sync with the green. And then this year is when I started pitching to investors. And luckily I got Diana's foundation that were very eager to fund with me. And another matching VC capital, venture capitalist, and an angel investor. So they see it as an opportunity, they see the scalability that comes with such a small project, and they're ready to take a risk because it's by all means a risk. And sometimes it's not just tech that's very interesting.
Philippe, maybe you would like to, so we show you some photo of the solar project you have, maybe on a more personal note. I mean, what were your own path as an entrepreneur to
So hi,
voilà.
I can start, right?
You can start, you will put the video, the image.
Okay, so my name is Philippe. I'm the managing director of Me Green. It all started in 2010. I used to live in Belgium, and back then in Belgium there was this green bubble, like the internet bubble, a bit earlier. And in Belgium we know that it's not a sunny country, and everybody was installing solar PVs. So I was thinking with Wajdi, who's here in the room with us, and another friend in Belgium, Thierry Lolom, that why we wanted to create something in Lebanon, and there was this energy problem in Lebanon, and this big natural resources that we have more than 300 sunny days. So we started in 2010, and we established a company that provides green energy solutions for in Lebanon. We started with the UNDP projects. First, we implemented the first UNDP projects in renewable energy, and 5 years later we signed some our first projects outside Lebanon, and very nice personalized projects. And we were joined in 2016 by Diana Foundation team, who are very helpful and helping us in taking the company into the next level and developing it even more. So this is it, I think, for me.
Thank you, Philippe. And you've been yesterday also. And finally, so last but not least, I leave the floor to Marc-Antoine from Atelier du Miel. Maybe some of you were there yesterday and have already seen a video. So we have another video, which is the premium video, he told me, of Atelier du Miel for today, for your eyes only. And yes, absolutely. And Marc-Antoine won the Product of the Year Lebanon Opportunities Award yesterday. So we'll show you the video now and.
Atelier du Miel began some 5 years ago. It was my brother and I who, I'm an architect and he's a business consultant, and we just felt the need to reconnect with nature. We've lived in the city our whole lives. We knew nothing about nature, but this is really a need everyone has, I think. Some people do it by hiking, some other people doing many different activities in a garden in their house, or planting some plants in their apartment. But we felt we needed it, and we needed it a bit more than just going for a hike in the mountains. So this is where we began thinking about many things. But something really attracted us, and it was beekeeping. Why? Beekeeping is a window to nature. First of all, it's the most natural product you can ever have. It's a synthesis of nature. Bees bring the nectar of the flowers, and as you've seen in the video, humans have the least intervention possible. So you just extract it and you eat it, and that's it. And what's fantastic about it is that it resumes all nature in just this product. So wherever you put the bees, it's going to get, wherever you put the bees, they're going to get the best out of this location and of this season, and then they'll make honey out of them. And more importantly, you can make different kinds of honeys. So you can have depending on where you put the bees, you'll have region-specific honeys, you'll have flower-specific honeys, and that was really a big attraction for us. And this is how we bought our first beehives, and we did our first production. We sold it to our friends. They loved it, and this encouraged us to buy more beehives. And this is where it began to be a business. We opened our first boutique in. There's something I forgot. There's a great milestone in there before opening our boutique. It's that we had a fresh eye. We didn't know anything about beehive. This could have been about beekeeping. It would have been a big handicap, but it turned out to be the best advantage. Why? Because we had a fresh eye and we tried new things. We didn't replicate the same old methods they use. So this is where we created the bee path. It's in Lebanon, in this small country, we have flowering seasons all year long, even in winter. Even in winter, we have flowering seasons. So it's possible for the bees to feed on natural resources all year long. And this is unique in such a small area. So this is what we did. We moved our beehives all year long to follow flower blossom. Even in winter, we produce honey. We produce 20 kinds of honey all over the Lebanese territory. And this is how we opened our first boutique, and it was a success. And people really liked it, liked the idea, liked the product, and most of all, people reintegrated honey in their lives because. Agricultural products people consume nowadays. People consume less produce of the land because they're detached from their villages and all of that. We're all city. We all live in most of the people in the city. They have few connections with their with the villages. So there's a lack of trust in the agricultural produce of the country. So Atelier du Miel comes to reconnect those people and reassure them that they can use this agricultural produce safely and in their normal lives. Of course, it's better than if it's done well. It's a lot better than all of the processed food we can buy in the market. So ever since it has been a great journey. We've enlarged our production. We've introduced a special program where we can partner with other beekeepers, and this has had a great impact on us and on the beekeepers because. we've developed a quality assurance program, and we've selected a few beekeepers. There are 5, a bit more, 6 now. And those beekeepers are able to sell all their production if they produce according to our quality assurance program. And this can be larger and larger, and it can benefit the honey production in general to produce better practices. This is mainly it. So there's only one thing I'd like to add, is that now we're deploying beehives in Beirut, and this is a great initiative too. We've placed some beehives in the Résidence des Pins, where they announced the Great Lebanon in 1920. It's the residence of the French ambassador, so he runs next to the beehives every day in the morning, and we produce great honey there. We've placed another couple of beehives in ESA, the university, and in Sirsut Museum, so on the roof of Sirsut Museum. And I think this is great to reintroduce people to nature, to the cycle of nature, because bees are they're the motor of nature. They illustrate the whole cycle, and how nature is linked to it is one cycle, and it's one it's holistic. So yes, that's it.
Thank you, Marc-Antoine. So I think we'll leave the floor for some questions. Before that, I would just like to all of you, in 2 words, telling the audience what we can do to support you. I mean, of course, we have to go to Tabaris to buy some honey. We have to go tonight to do a bike ride with a messenger and tell them to bring all your courier and parcel to any places. We have to go to any... we have a lot of distributors, Sumaya, in Beirut, for your Takabar and bread basket products. And we have to ask Amy Green for some sun program in our own houses. But maybe if you can just say one word to the audience and how we can support you to grow. What's your message? And then we'll leave the floor for some questions. Who would like to run? Yeah, good.
So I think as a consumer, you know, when there's internal demand, there will be supply. And what I mean by that is that, and Cyril, you brought a good point when you said, is business very green? And I will ask you, is consumerism very green? Is it green? If I buy a container of bioplastic and I bring it all across to Lebanon, is it green? So consumerism is the heartbeat of our modern society. And what I ask you as consumerism is to shift its conscious consumerism. So you buy today and you think twice about, do I really need it? Do I really want to buy it? And who's behind it? And by doing that is the first step to being green, because you cannot exterminate consumerism from today's 21st century. And I cannot ask all of you to go and make a garden and plant an apple tree. It doesn't work. Just conscious consumerism, I think, is the next step.
Someone else? We have to raise the level more and more at each intervention.
I think everyone here in this room suffers from traffic, so I invite you to get on your bikes. You're gonna tell me like you're afraid, you'll arrive sweating at your work, all these arguments. Anyway, excuses, yeah. So if you want to try it, if you want to try to get on a bike and bike in Beirut and you're afraid of it, I invite you to join us tonight. We have a bike ride, a 2-hour tour around Beirut. It will give you a clue about how you can ride between cars, how you can share the road with cars, because it's not true that if you don't have bike lanes, you cannot bike. Yeah. All around the world...
I think you have less than 20% people dying in your rides, no?
It's
a very good ratio.
I can give you some figures. In 4 years, you had like 6 accidents. 2 of them were serious, and it was never hit by a car. Okay, yeah. So, mistake by the cyclist. Yes, falling. So this is if you want to get rid of pollution and getting stuck in traffic and arriving stressing at home. Second thing is our service, which is if you want to send anything, any type of parcel within Beirut, a cell phone, a key, money, check, whatever, you can call us, or you can place your order online on deghri.net. And a bike messenger will come sweating at your office, will pick up your parcel and will deliver it, and you're giving back to the community and creating employment for young people, for university students also. So it's, win-win situation for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Karim. Thank you. Want to add something?
Another thing, I would say, we didn't do green business out of pity for nature. I personally did this because I am convinced that this is the best way to live. And I ask for from consumers and from people, whatever their input is in society, we're not asking for green businesses to be treated with pity. At the contrary, no, really, at the contrary, you need first to be convinced. You need to evaluate and see, is this product better than the other? Am I eating more healthy? Am I eating better? Am I eating tastier? And am I actually? I really believe in what Jan in Jan's vision, which is green business is profitable, is better, is fitter. So yeah, I just. Ask from people to evaluate it on the same level as other businesses, as other products, and they'll see that we're better. That's it.
Philippe.
Okay, it will be a bit complicated to continue. I mean, to fulfill or add something more on what was already said. But, well, in conclusion, I think in Lebanon we are all aware about the catastrophic situations that we have in terms of pollution, garbage, and everything. But we should be reactive and not passive about these issues. And this is by supporting and by dealing or contributing to the green or, in making Lebanon a better place. And this is by buying local, using the natural resources, and of course supporting also less cars in Beirut. So this is it, I think, for me. And let's supporting each other, green friends and green businesses. I think this is.
I hope in your shop, Karim, there will be a solar charging system.
Yeah, of course. We will start by that.
Okay, so. Yeah, sure.
Mark, what makes your product green? What makes your product different from other honeys?
First of all, I think most of you know that honey and olive oil are the most altered product internationally. So they're the products that are sold without clarity, without transparency to the consumers. So if I want to categorize a bit what are the types of honey, I would say there's the industrial honey. That's heated, filtered, and processed. There's the honey where you use antibiotic, pesticide, and all of that. and there's the honey that's natural, and there are different types of really natural honeys. So this is from one side. From the other side, of course, first you need to give the consumer a natural product that's unprocessed, and this is where you're just completing nature's work. From the other side, beekeeping is from the beekeeping side. Bees are as I said before, it's the catalyst of nature. It what makes nature multiply itself. It's what makes the flower become a fruit. By pollination. So this is another part, and. People know about beekeeping, know about natural product, and know about the impact that consumption has on the production and all of that. This is where Atelier Jamiel can have a positive impact on the environment. And of course, there's other aspects. What jars you use.
I'll stop your passion. Sorry, Marc-Antoine. I'll stop your passion. I'd like to have some question in the ground. First, I'd like to not forget to thank a lot Noémie and Tracy, who has been very supportive on preparing this workshop and organizing the whole support of the project. And I think, Diana, we should next year maybe lobby to Ramzi to organize a coming by bicycle to the conference and get rid on the plastic. I leave it to you to do that next year. Okay, so maybe you have some question in the assistance. Introduce yourself before.
Yes, I'm Kati Shamitian. I have an environmental magazine. And I wanted to ask Karim, are you lobbying for bike lanes or no? Or are you thinking of lobbying to have bike lanes?
No, because I think that it's very, very, very hard to really implement a bike lane in Lebanon due to the bad infrastructure that we have. So instead of really wasting years of my time lobbying for this, I'm going to lobby to educate people on how to share the road with cars. This is my aim. This is what I'm going to do.
Okay. It's a hard job. We have very bad drivers.
Practically, it's not a hard job because over 4 years, you have been known for the night rides. Like every Thursday, there's a biking group that is going out on the streets. For the past 4 years till tonight, we've been really seeing a change in drivers' behavior when they see a cyclist on the road. Even people who usually use their cars and now are joining our rides and they are taking part of our community, when they drive a car, they are now respecting a cyclist. So it's a whole circle. But really going to lobby for bike lanes, I think, unfortunately, I'm not being negative about it, but it's a waste of time.
Another question to Sumaya, where can we find your products in Beirut? Because
so they can be you can actually look on our Facebook page, so you'll have all the points of sales, but Supermarket Ashrafi, Farhoud, Goodies, Aziz. Yeah, maybe delivery with Deghri. I don't know.
Yeah, right. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. You can find some nice. You're right. You can say a word if you like on this program.
So we're trying also to have it more accessible solutions. So because what we are proposing is more as of a contracting or engineering solutions. So now we're partnered with Khouri Home in order to provide one green shop or green energy shop at Khouri Home. Voilà. Yeah. So we provide energy solutions for green energy solutions. So either to heat the water or to produce electricity from the sun or from the wind, or eco-construction, heat recovery. But these are more specified solutions. Of course, we import them because we don't have manufacturers in Lebanon. But we use our natural resources here that we have more than we need in order to fill the gap the energy cut we have, so the blackouts. We can easily now switch from the diesel generators that are very polluting, very expensive, into a green solution that is cheaper, especially now with the financial schemes that we have and the subsidized loans. So nowadays we can switch from the Shirak, motor Shirak to
I understand that the point is you buy, you import part of the solution, you do the engineering.
We do
this is kind of assembly, let's say.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, because till now there's no manufacturer in the facilities.
This is an idea.
Yeah, of course. I will support you. Actually.
Well, right now we manufacture diesel generators.
Yeah.
We're looking into new products, so...
Actually, we've talked...
That's why I'm here.
Yeah, of course. Excellent. It would be a very good idea. But this is a very important, actually, point because, as we said earlier, that Lebanon can be a ground for pilot projects because, like the diesel generators, we are very good because we had energy problems in Lebanon. Now I think...
not just that, one of the biggest importers, manufacturers or assemblers of diesel generators on a very big scale. It's not to say in the world.
That's right.
Yeah,
but for a small country as in Lebanon, well, this was due or a result for the energy problem in Lebanon.
No, we export also to Jordan, export
right.
to the Gulf area, we export to Africa.
But now, for instance, I can tell you from my experience that since in our sector we need batteries to store energy, so now our partners in Europe will contact us for expertise in this domain because now in Germany, for instance, they are installing batteries because it's a bit for another reason there because the price of energy differs from for each period of time. So now they are using batteries also to store energy when it's cheap, to use it when it's expensive. So I think it can be in the future, they will rely on our expertise. And I hope that we can start, or someone will start a manufacturing facility in Lebanon.
Excellent. Thank you. Do you have any questions there?
It was actually very relevant to what he's asking. I was wondering what your edge is compared to many other companies that are also doing similar work, installing solar panels around the country.
Well, first when it started 6 years ago, there was not so many companies that deals with this. But of course now there's a competition. What differentiates us is that we can provide a complete solution. So we have an all-energy approach. We're not specialized in photovoltaics only. So we sometimes, if like we are contacted for a solar project, and if it doesn't work, we won't because we have a complete solution, all-energy approach. So we have mechanical engineers who are specialized in heat recovery, or solar thermal, or and photovoltaic, or wind turbine. We implemented the first wind turbine projects in Lebanon for UNDP. I think that this is what differentiates us from the rest. Well, of course, you will have a couple of companies that provide the whole complete solution, but I think most of them are either specialized in solar PV, for instance, or solar water heater, or any other specific solution. Merci.
Thank you.
Yeah, hello. Actually, I have two questions, if you don't mind. The first question is for you. What would be a ticket for you to invest in? How much is the amount, if there's a range? The second question is actually for Sumaya. When we speak about food products and we engage it with the ecology or the green aspect, we have a problem of the perception. People view it as a very high-end value product, and that really affects your pricing and the scalability of your product. Have you been facing such a challenge, and how could you fix it? The same could apply to Mark, especially with honey. So I would love to hear from you. Thank you.
Maybe first answer to your question. So we don't have a typical size of tickets. What I can say is that we have different range of company we are investing in. Let's say today, we are in the range of $500,000 of tickets for regular company, but we are ready to go on a much lower side for starting companies, and we are ready to go on a much higher side for big business. And I would say we are really favoring an approach where we don't invest everything on day one, and we are looking for proof of concept, and supporting the company to go further, and of course reducing the company. Well, I don't go to too much boring details, but well, you see, we are very open from very small ticket on startups on larger one for more developed business. We are, and I'll let Sumaya answer.
I think that's a very good question. Because you're very right. Most quality products are premium pricing, and it's something that I was very aware when I started with all of this. And it's part of my business model to create, and every time I do create a product, it has to be affordable, available, and accessible. Because if your idea is only viable when it's sellable and scalable. This is the approach to it, because I don't necessarily want to stay in the niche market. And niche markets is usually where you have your premium pricing. So being green, so I have like these very ideological ideas of being green, is you look in بالمربع, you look at your resources. And you realize in your resources, what do you have today? Do I have organic za'atar in Lebanon? Yes. Do I have oat flour in Lebanon? No. Should I buy organic oat flour or should I buy conventional oat flour? What's the decision that I make? How can I create the healthiest, most alternative cookie in the Lebanese society that me and somebody in Nahr Abu Ali can buy it at an affordable price? And this is something, and I don't know if having been raised in Tripoli made me so aware of the big differences throughout the country and made me very aware of the pricing, because I personally, till today, refuse to buy cookies for $10, 150 gram biscuit, $10. I refuse it. I don't think it's not viable as a food product. So if you look at the pricing scheme of my products, you'll see that my breads are actually quite affordable. Cookies are very affordable. Ma'moul are very affordable. And I do have a premium range for the ones that want it, which are organic, gluten-free. It's available because I know I want to match, and I want to have the umbrella of the niche market. So I want to satisfy every consumer in it. But definitely it's something that I tackle, and I'm very aware of it. And it's allowing me to export, so I'm happy.
The question for Sumaya is, are you working as well on the packaging of your product and making it green? Because I see it, not really green.
That's a very good question. What's your name? Rinwa. So green packaging. So when you have a natural product, your biggest backlash is, guys, come on, shelf life. No, your natural product, you don't have preservatives and additives. What makes you stay on the shelf for 1 year and 2 years and 3 years? Preservatives and additives. When you don't have preservatives and additives, your only help is your packaging. So this again, you do your compromise. You don't want light, you don't want oxygen, you don't want it to be perishable, you don't want it to get broken. So that's what I'm saying is that you have to compromise. It's not, there's no one solution fits all to my model. You give and you take from there. I leverage that I work with small scale farmers for a very small line. It's the annex. Is it my main business? No, it's not. Why am I using it? Is my marketing edge? It's constantly evolving, you know, it's constantly changing, especially in the F&B. It's not...
I have a question. Hi, Cyril. I have a question for you. Did you attend the talk before this one, in this room, about water?
Yeah, but my Arabic is very...
Okay. Sorry, they did speak a lot in Arabic. Yeah. And has anyone in the foundation...
Yeah, actually was the answer.
Because there was a big problem communicated about the water, and there were solutions in one of the small towns. And our neighbor south from here is exporting water technology worldwide, and they're probably the most knowledgeable. And nothing prevents us as a country to do the same, and we need it. And I think, I don't know if you as a organization, you look at opportunities are coming to you, or do you also look at the needs in the country and all the resources are can muster some of them? Because that's something to look at.
I cannot reply directly for the water, but I mean, in general, we are exactly what you say. We are identifying opportunities coming to us, and I have at least 3 examples I can quote. First, bioplastic, because here we want to, and we say we don't know. Let's say we want to test to understand whether it is interesting or not for the cutleries, for the wrapping of food, for the bags, for the mulching. So we want to understand better bioplastic. We couldn't find any provider here. So we try ourselves. We invested time and money to do some tests here and there, and go to Düsseldorf tomorrow to understand what the market is there. So, well, we try. Our quinoa cell, we feel very interesting gap in quinoa production and process, in bulk selling also. So these are thematics where we are very happy to investigate our time and energy to, if there's no entrepreneurs, to test ourselves, and then we cannot hold it on our side always, but trying to find entrepreneurs who will be able to take it over. So yes, we do that. For water, now let's see, I don't have the answer to your question. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Saad Sabah Ayman. I'm an agricultural engineer. I have a company, landscape company called AgriNet. My question is to Mr. Mark. Can you make honey from gardenia plants? I want to let you know why am I asking this. Because I have planted Sursup Museum, and you said you have put some honey. I have planted around 130 gardenias there. So.
No, I don't think gardenia is a.
So how can they do honey?
Actually, now around Sursup, bees travel 5 kilometers.
Okay.
So 20 kilometers of diameter. So what they're attracted to in this season is the eucalyptus trees that are blossoming around the port area and Marim Khayyil, and there's a lot of eucalyptus trees there in the bus graveyard.
That's why. Which is good. And I think the jacaranda tree is the one that flower purple. I think they can use that also. Thank you.
Any other comment, question, vision, willingness to share, to invest? Are you looking for other feeling on this? We found some for you. Thank you. So there's no other question. I really invite you to give us your business cards or your contact. We'll be very happy to share. As we were saying, we are really to form a community of entrepreneurs helping themselves, they do already, and of citizen professionals around the green business. Sure.
You guys touched on, especially you mentioned what's happening in Circuit 51, and are you working with any accelerators or incubators to see how you can merge green with technology to see?
Of course, we are partnering with all the incubators in Lebanon, and we are trying to make them greener and to make them green totally if possible. But we are working with all. We have many of the projects came from Speed or AltCity or Belitech.
Cyril, here I can answer his question also that there's an application called Squirrel. It links the motorbike delivery boys to the clients. So we approach each other to integrate the bicycle as a mean of delivery, as a mean of transport in their app. So now we're working on it. So as green businesses, yes, we can meet with the technological startups, of course.
A lot of scope for that, yes. Absolutely.
Yes.
It was really difficult to find my investors, and I had been looking for a while, and I was not met. Because the money is being geared into the tech. anything that's non-tech is very difficult to get access to, and especially because the startup ecosystem in Lebanon is quite young. You know, this is not Silicon Valley, so the institutions are developing, the accelerators are developing, the whole notion of it is developing as well. So,
from what I understand, they're also going into F&B and looking into that market and talking about developing funds specifically for F&B. I don't know how far they've gotten. Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks for all. Good journey and thanks to you all.